Ever heard of an army that battled itself? Dive into the bewildering tale of the Battle of Karánsebes and discover history's most chaotic case of friendly fire. Let's unravel this mysterious event together. Chapter 1. The Mighty Habsburg March. A vast expanse of land lay ahead, dotted with marching soldiers stretching as far as the eye could see. The Habsburg monarchy's army, a formidable force, moved with determination towards the Ottoman frontier. Each step resonated with the pride and might of an empire that had seen countless victories. Soldiers of varying ranks chatted animatedly. Tales of past glories echoed among the veterans, while younger recruits spoke of the adventures they anticipated. The rich tapestry of the army was evident in every conversation, a blend of German, Hungarian, Czech, and more, creating a rhythmic hum of languages. In the midst of this diversity, there was unity. A shared purpose bound them all, to defend their land and legacy against the approaching Ottomans. The weight of the forthcoming battle was palpable, but so was the camaraderie. But as the sun began to set, a small group of scouts ventured slightly ahead, their eyes scanning the horizon for potential threats. Little did they know that their evening would take an unexpected turn, all thanks to a chance encounter. And so began a chain of events that would go down in the annals of history. Chapter 2. A Chance Encounter. The sun hung low, casting elongated shadows on the ground as the scouts moved forward. Their duty was clear: find safe spots for the camp and ensure no surprises from the enemy. But the discovery they made wasn't one of war. It was of merriment. Hidden behind a cluster of trees was a group of gypsies, their wagons parked in a semicircle. Music played softly and laughter filled the air. The enticing aroma of cooked food wafted, but what caught the scouts' eyes were the bottles of schnapps being sold. Forgetting their duties momentarily, the scouts approached, coins in hand. The gypsies, always keen on business, poured the golden liquid generously. As the scouts sipped the drink, they felt the day's exhaustion melt away. Their laughter grew louder, merging with the gypsies' songs. Around the makeshift campfire, tales from distant lands and shared dreams for the future flowed as freely as the schnapps. The night was young, and the revelry was just beginning. Oblivious to the unfolding destiny, the scouts reveled in the moment, not realizing that word of their find would soon spread. Chapter 3. The Spark of Chaos. Back at the main camp, whispers began to circulate about the scouts' discovery. The idea of a drink and a brief escape from the tense anticipation of battle was too enticing for many. One by one, soldiers began to sneak away, drawn to the promise of schnapps. As more soldiers arrived at the gypsy camp, the once peaceful setting grew rowdier. Elbows jostled, and voices raised in impatience. The initially abundant schnapps was now dwindling, and not everyone was willing to share. A playful shove between two soldiers turned into a heated argument. With so many languages spoken, misunderstandings were inevitable. Tensions escalated, and the situation quickly spiraled out of control. In the confusion, amidst the clinking of bottles and raised voices, a panicked soldier fearing an Ottoman ambush yelled, "Turks! Turks!" This shout, meant as a warning, was misinterpreted by many as an actual alarm. Soldiers scrambled for their weapons, eyes darting around, searching for the unseen enemy. The gypsies, frightened by the sudden chaos, retreated to their wagons. The stage was set for a night that no one had imagined or desired. Chapter 4. The Confusion of Tongues. Amidst the growing chaos, officers rushed to the scene, their authoritative voices echoing in the night. They barked orders in their native tongues, attempting to rally and control their subordinates. But instead of clarity, the variety of languages only deepened the confusion. A German command clashed with a Hungarian one, while a Czech officer's directive was misinterpreted by those unfamiliar with the language. Soldiers, unsure of whom to follow and what to do, began forming hasty defensive lines, their eyes filled with fear and mistrust. Spotlights of suspicion shone on comrades as they tried to discern friend from foe. In the dim light and haze of alcohol, uniforms blurred, faces became unrecognizable, and every shadow seemed like a potential threat. Amidst the shouting and chaos, some soldiers, genuinely believing they were under an Ottoman ambush, began firing warning shots into the darkness. The sporadic gunfire intensified the panic, with many convinced that battle had commenced. While some desperately sought to find and engage the elusive enemy, others began to retreat, fearing the worst. The once unified force was now splintered by fear, miscommunication, and the tragic irony of mistaken identity. Chapter 5. The Artillery's Roar. Amid the tumultuous scene, a harrowing decision was made. A group of senior officers, thinking they were under a significant Ottoman assault, made the call to deploy the big guns, the artillery. From the backlines, the ominous silhouette of cannons became visible, aimed at what the officers believed were Ottoman formations. The command was given, and with a deafening roar, the cannons unleashed their fury upon the very soldiers they were meant to protect. The explosions illuminated the night in brief, horrifying bursts, revealing scenes of chaos. Soldiers who had once shared tales around campfires, trained together, and marched side by side were now caught in the crossfire, casualties of their own comrades. The earth trembled with each cannon blast, sending shockwaves of horror through the ranks. The true realization of what was happening began to dawn on some. Efforts to cease fire were drowned out by the relentless noise and confusion. Tears mixed with dirt and gunpowder as soldiers tried desperately to save their wounded friends. The night, which had begun with laughter and shared drinks, had turned into a grim testament to the devastating consequences of misunderstanding and fear. Chapter 6. Dawn's Grim Light. As the first hints of dawn painted the sky, a haunting stillness settled over the battlefield. The cannons, which had roared with fury hours earlier, now stood silent, as if ashamed of their deeds. The rising sun cast a soft golden hue, contrasting starkly with the grim reality below. Soldiers, faces streaked with soot and tears, slowly emerged from their hiding spots. Everywhere, the ground was littered with the fallen. Comrades who had celebrated, trained, and laughed together, now victims of a tragic miscommunication. Some soldiers moved among the wounded, offering water, comfort, or a final act of mercy. Others simply sat, their faces etched with disbelief, trying to process the night's events. Whispers of regret, sorrow, and confusion filled the air. Amid the devastation, a few officers tried to muster the surviving troops, but the spirit of unity was shattered. The Habsburg Army, once a symbol of might and cohesion, was now a broken force. As the morning sun climbed higher, casting longer shadows on the field, the weight of regret became almost palpable. An eerie question lingered. How had a night of camaraderie turned into such a catastrophic ordeal? Chapter 7. The Ottoman Spectators. 2 days later, a soft rumble echoed in the distance. The Ottoman forces, known for their discipline and might, approached Karánsebes, ready to clash with the famed Habsburg Army. Their banners fluttered in the wind, and their battle drums set a rhythmic pace. But as they neared the battleground, they encountered a scene they hadn't prepared for. Instead of a fortified Austrian position, there was a field marred by devastation, with signs of a battle already fought. Broken cannons, discarded weapons, and fallen soldiers bore silent witness to the chaos. Whispers spread rapidly among the Ottoman ranks. Scouts and spies brought back tales, not of a fierce battle against the Austrians, but of a Habsburg army that had, unbelievably, turned on itself. Ottoman commanders exchanged glances, a mix of disbelief and strategic recalibration. Here was an unexpected gift, a weakened enemy without a fight. From a distance, they observed, contemplating their next move. The mighty Habsburg force, which should have been their greatest challenge, had inadvertently paved the way for an Ottoman advantage. History, it seemed, had a sense of irony, and fate had played its card.